fishermen here are at the forefront of this community here in Greencastle. It is home to this fishing port and co-op, a maritime museum, seafood bars and restaurants, the National Fishing College of Ireland, boat builders, and of course home to many of the fishermen and their families. We learnt of the challenges of life away at sea, but what about on land? Bridget is a Greencastle native and grew up with her father as a fisherman.
Daddy would have fished just the salmon during the summer, so back then the salmon fishing was at night. And it's funny because when we were small and getting up, he would have been in bed by the time we would get up to go to school, so his Wellingtons were sitting outside the door. So we used to look at the Wellingtons to see if there were scales on them, so we knew he got fish if there were scales on his Wellingtons.
With Bridget's father and brother being fishermen, it didn't put her off marrying one. Her husband Terry can be away at sea for up to 11 weeks at a time. She raised 3 kids with the help of her village.
Back then it was difficult because there was no communication, and being more or less a single parent, you had to make the decisions yourself because you had no way of communicating. Now life is very different, whereas if you need something you can actually lift the phone and talk to them, see them, and you don't feel like you're a single parent. Kurt, she was crawling when her daddy went away and she was walking when he came back, and she didn't recognise him.
With this in mind, I wanted to see how it felt for Terry when his daughter didn't recognise him, so I cast a line to him at sea.
I remember we went away to Scotland for I think it was 7 weeks that time. But Aisling wasn't walking before I left. When I came back, she was walking. They met me at the door, but Aisling wouldn't come out. I actually grew a beard in the meantime, but she was just starting to walk, but she held on to the mother on the leg and she wouldn't come out. She was scared of me, she didn't know who it was. No, it was hard but after a day she was grand, but you were sort of like a complete stranger all over again.
The week the school was off, I went fishing with my daddy on the Brendellan. On the Saturday night after Mass, I took a minibus to the Brendellan.
This is a poem that Terry and Bridget's son wrote after a special family fishing trip.
That night when I was up on the wheelers, I saw the mackerel coming into the boat. Then I saw a big tuna. It was the biggest tuna I had ever seen. The men on the boat used a derrick to haul it in, which is the big thing on the boat. And the next day we went fishing for more mackerel. So that's just a child describing.
But look at the size of the tuna,
it's huge, yeah. So he would have never seen a fish that size before. So
just as excited for fishing, Aaron is eager to follow in his family's footsteps, despite people trying to pit him off the life at sea.
It's just let me try it, and whenever I loved it, there's no point in trying to stop me. Everyone always says fishermen aren't, what would you say? Most boys that go out fishing aren't normal, but you can't be not. You have to be a bit crazy to go out and do them things. You just can't be. They're not on the mill. As soon as I get to you, I'll be happy.
The fishing industry's rich history is kept alive through music here. Clodagh Warnock started an Irish traditional music school to help preserve the rich cultural heritage.
There's so much culture, there's so much history to the music that it is great to be able to pass that on. I'm lucky that I came to an area that was perceptive and wanted to do it. Music and song are us, it's our nature, it's all, and what's so beautiful about this area in particular, the Donegal music, the Inishowen music is really, really special. The music here is just beautiful.
As we have learned, there is a deep connection between Irish culture and the sea. For generations, the people of this land have relied on the ocean for their livelihoods. From the music of the traditional Irish session to the hard work and sacrifice of the fishermen, this is culture that's worth preserving.